If a tenant in Ontario is experiencing violence in their rental home or fears that it is a possibility, there are ways to legally end the tenancy early and quickly so that they can escape the situation without worrying about penalties for breaking the lease.
It's a two-step notice. The first is the notice itself, which you can get on the Landlord-Tenant Board website.
The notice is an N15 form issued by the tenant to the landlord in the case of fear of domestic or sexual violence involving their current or former spouse, someone they currently or used to live with in a conjugal relationship, someone they are or were dating, or someone who lives in the unit and is related to them or their child by marriage, blood, or adoption. The second step involves attaching one of two documents, either a form called the tenant's statement about sexual or domestic violence and abuse that defines the specific type of domestic violence, or a copy of a restraining order or peace bond that says the alleged abuser cannot contact the tenant or a child living with them.
So you fill out the forms and then you submit them to the landlord, either email or in person.
The tenant does not have to be currently living with the person they are trying to flee to use the N15. It also applies if they no longer feel safe in the unit because the person they fear knows where they live. They can send the forms at any point in the tenancy with 28 days notice.
They do have to make sure that all of their belongings are removed by the end of the notice period. From that 28th day over, the landlord is no longer responsible for your belongings.
Landlords must maintain confidentiality when they receive an N15.
They can't talk to anyone except for the superintendent or the property manager, just to explain this person is going to be moving out. That's it. Nothing else can be explained or talked about. And also those people, those landlord agents, they cannot talk about it to other tenants, to anyone.
The landlord also cannot advertise the unit for rent in any identifiable way until the termination date has passed and the tenant has moved out. Moran Venegas says as far as possible, landlords should endeavor to be accommodating and considerate in such cases.
It's really about, putting yourself in a situation where you're supporting these people fleeing domestic violence and trying your best to create, a safe escape.
Now, Moran Venegas strongly suggests that if tenants do find themselves in these difficult situations, that they reach out to their local community legal clinic for guidance. For City News, I'm Dilshad Burman.